All right, so are you ready to take your amazing business idea and turn it into an actual proposal? We've got all this great information from different sources, all about being an entrepreneur.
Yeah. It's like having the tools and the instructions all in one place.
Yeah.
We're going to cover everything from finding great opportunity all the way to dealing with legal stuff and financial projections.
Okay, so first, like, how do we define a business idea versus a business opportunity? I feel like a lot of people just get stuck in the idea phase.
You're so right. It's that like light bulb moment.
Yeah.
This is brilliant. I've got to build a business around this. But having a great idea for, let's say, a new type of dog leash doesn't automatically mean you have a business, right?
Right.
So how do we bridge that gap? How do we move from like, I have an idea to I have an opportunity?
Yeah, that's the big question.
That's where opportunity comes in. Our sources all talk about how important it is to like validate your idea in the market. Is there actually a need for this new dog leash? What makes yours stand out from all the others? Can you reach your audience and make money? Answering these questions is what turns a fleeting idea into a real opportunity.
Okay, so it's not just about passion then. It's about taking that passion and proving that there's a need for what you're so excited about.
Exactly. One source even talked about looking at past leads, the ones that didn't convert into sales. Why did those people walk away? Maybe your product was missing a feature they wanted.
Oh, interesting.
Or maybe the price was too high for them. That feedback can be super valuable in refining your idea. It's how you turn it into a real opportunity.
It's like you almost made the sale, so that's almost like market research in itself.
Right.
Okay, so we've got our great idea, we've done some research, we're feeling good, but now there's a super important question to answer. Is this financially viable?
This is how we separate the dreamers from the doers, right? Financial viability means going beyond that initial excitement and asking the tough questions. Will my business make enough money to cover costs? What are my potential profit margins? How long until I break even?
And how do we even answer those questions? I mean, it can be a bit daunting, especially if you're not a financial expert.
Well, one source broke it down really simply. ROI, or
Right.
return on investment.
Okay.
You're essentially comparing how much you're putting in, like time, money, energy, against your potential financial gains.
Oh,
If the projected ROI is low or even negative, well, it might be time to take another look at that idea.
okay, so ROI is like the ultimate test.
Yeah.
But it's not just about the money, right? There are other resources to consider.
That's such a good point. Our sources all emphasize that. Financial viability is about more than just the numbers. It's about you, your personal circumstances,
Yeah.
your skills. Do you have the time and energy to really make this work? Do you have the skills, or are there gaps you need to fill? And maybe the most important question, are you ready for the emotional side of being an entrepreneur?
Yeah.
Because it's not easy.
No,
You're
it's not.
exactly what?
One source even asked, can you handle making payroll even when sales are slow? That's something a lot of people don't think about.
Okay, that's a good reality check.
Right.
So we've assessed our idea, we've looked at the numbers, and we're cautiously optimistic, I guess.
Cautiously optimistic.
But before we jump in head first,
Uh-huh.
there's another big thing to address. Risk. Because starting a business is inherently risky, right?
It's like sailing on an adventure, but instead of worrying about the wind and the waves, you're navigating through the market and competitors and, even the economy. But just like a good captain, we can be prepared for those risks, right?
Okay, I like that, the sailing metaphor.
Yeah. But before we set sail, let's break down those risks. What kind of business hazards should we be looking out for?
Our sources laid out a few main types of risks: strategic, compliance, financial, operational, and then those specific to your particular business idea. Each one carries potential consequences, so it's crucial to understand them. That's how you mitigate their impact.
Okay, so let's tackle those one by one,
Okay.
starting with strategic risks. What are those?
Strategic risks are those big picture things that could completely change your business model. Imagine if all of a sudden customers change their buying habits and your product is just obsolete. Or what if some new technology comes along and disrupts your entire industry? Those are the things that keep CEOs up at night.
So it's about anticipating those big shifts and being ready to adapt.
Yeah.
Okay. What about compliance risks? Those sound a bit scary.
Yeah. Compliance risks are all about following the rules, like the data privacy rules, consumer protection laws,
Yeah.
safety standards, things like that. Not following those could lead to big fines. Lawsuits, damage to your reputation. It's serious stuff.
Okay, noted. Now, financial risks. Those seem pretty obvious.
Yeah.
Money problems.
Yeah, financial risks can be anything from cash flow issues to, surprise expenses,
Yeah.
economic downturns, even changes in currency exchange rates. It can all impact you. One of our sources really emphasized having a solid financial plan and a good cash reserve to help you deal with those problems.
So like an emergency fund for your business.
Yeah, exactly.
What about operational risks? Those sound a bit more day-to-day.
Yeah, operational risks are about what could go wrong just in your normal operations, like a natural disaster that messes up your supply chain, a crucial piece of equipment breaking down, even a cyber attack.
Okay, this is a lot.
Yeah.
So we know about the risks, but how do we actually deal with them? We can't just cross our fingers and hope for the best, right?
Definitely not. That's what risk management is all about. You're probably not going to eliminate risk entirely. That's usually impossible. But you can identify, assess, and mitigate those risks so they have less of an impact if they do happen.
Okay, so it's like having a backup plan for when things go wrong,
Exactly.
which they inevitably do.
Yeah. One source even said to think of it as an ongoing process. You're constantly evaluating. So that would be one, identifying potential risks, really brainstorm everything that could go wrong. Then two, analyze those risks, figure out how likely they are to occur and how bad the impact would be. Then three, develop strategies to mitigate them.
Okay, so it's about being proactive.
Right. So a simple example would be backing up your data regularly
Right.
to protect against cyber attacks, or diversifying your supply chain so you're not reliant on just one source.
Makes sense.
That would help if there's a natural disaster or even like political problems in a specific region.
So we've got our risk management plan ready. We know what could happen. We have some ideas for what to do if it does. Now, how do we communicate those risks to other people? That has to be a delicate balance.
It is, you're right. You have to be transparent, but you don't want to scare off potential investors or partners by focusing on every possible risk. One source talked about how important it is to tailor your communication to your audience.
So we're not like yelling, the sky is falling,
Yeah.
but we're still being honest.
Exactly. If you're talking to investors, focus on the risks that could affect their investment. Explain how you're going to minimize those risks, what steps you're taking.
And what if you're talking to potential partners?
Yeah.
Then it's more about working together.
Exactly. You're highlighting the risks that could affect both of you and outlining a plan to deal with them together. It's all about trust, building confidence.
Okay, so let's say something big happens,
Okay.
a global event that affects your whole industry. How do you communicate that risk to your customers?
Yeah.
Especially if it's not something you directly caused.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Clear and empathetic communication is super important there. Acknowledge that there could be an impact on your customers, even if it's not your fault. So like if there's a global pandemic, that messes up your supply chain and your deliveries are delayed, you acknowledge the situation and be upfront about those delays. Let your customers know what's going on.
And maybe offer some solutions.
Yeah, like expedited shipping or discounts.
Right.
It shows your customers you're all in this together.
And you're doing what you can to help.
Right. And sometimes just saying, hey, we get it, this is frustrating, thanks for your patience, can go a long way.
Right, empathy.
Yeah,
It builds trust.
exactly.
Okay, so we've talked about identifying risks and assessing them, mitigating them, and communicating them. Now, how do we build a system for managing all of that? What does that actually look like?
It doesn't have to be super complicated. Even small businesses can do it. Think of it as a written plan, outlining exactly how you're going to deal with specific risks.
Oh, okay.
So, for example, what if there's a natural disaster? Do you have a plan for relocating? What about communicating with employees and customers? Can you access your data backups?
So it's like a playbook for those just-in-case scenarios.
Exactly. And this is important. Don't forget those near misses. If something almost goes wrong, you need to write it down. That helps you find weak spots in your system and improve your procedures.
It's like learning from your mistakes before they actually happen.
Right.
Okay, we've done a lot of prep work. We've looked at risks. We've built our system. Now let's talk about the proposal itself.
Let's do it.
All right. Our sources mentioned three main types of proposals: solicited, unsolicited, and grant proposals. You got to understand the differences between them because each one has a different audience and a different goal.
So it's like choosing the right tool for the job.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, explain those different types for us.
Okay, imagine you're a web designer. A bakery needs a new website, so they put out a request for proposals. That's a solicited proposal.
Okay.
You know exactly what they need. You know their budget. You know how much time you have. Your proposal has to address those specific requirements and show that you can give them what they want.
So it's very specific.
What about unsolicited proposals? Those sound a bit more bold.
Unsolicited proposals are more like exploring. You see an opportunity that a company maybe hasn't even thought of. So let's say you notice that bakery's online ordering system,
Oh, yeah.
it's clunky, it's outdated. You could send them an unsolicited proposal outlining a new system that would increase their sales and make their customers happier.
Ah, so you're finding a need they don't even know they have
Exactly.
and presenting yourself as a solution.
Right. And then there's grant proposals.
Yeah, those are a whole other thing.
Those are all about aligning your project with the goals of whoever's giving the grant. So say that bakery wants to expand and offer baking classes to the community.
Okay.
They could apply for a grant from a foundation that supports local food initiatives.
Right.
Their proposal would have to show how those baking classes fit with the foundation's goals.
Okay, so we know our business idea, we know the risks, we know what kind of proposal we need. But before we even start writing, we got to talk about budgeting.
Yeah. Budgeting often gets put in the boring but necessary category. But it's so important. It's the foundation of a good proposal.
Yeah.
And it's not just about getting money, it's about showing that you understand the financial side of your business.
And it helps you avoid those like, oh no, I totally forgot about that expense, moments later on.
Exactly. So where do we even start with making a budget? Well, first you got to figure out your fixed costs and your variable costs.
Okay.
Fixed costs are predictable. They usually stay the same. Things like rent, utilities, insurance, salaries. Variable costs change depending on how much you're producing or selling.
So like the bakery's rent is a fixed cost, but the cost of ingredients for their pastries is variable because it depends on how much they bake.
Exactly. Knowing the difference is super important for forecasting your expenses and figuring out if you can make a profit. If your variable costs are too high compared to your sales, you might need to raise your prices or find ways to be more efficient.
Okay, fixed costs, variable costs, got it. But what about those unexpected things that always seem to pop up?
Ah, yes, my oven broke, or I need to hire another delivery driver situations. This is where a lot of entrepreneurs get into trouble. They don't plan for those unexpected costs. One source recommended having a contingency fund, basically some extra money just for those unexpected things.
So like a safety net.
Yeah. But how much do you put in that fund?
Right, that's the question.
A good rule of thumb is 5 to 10% of your total budget. It can be more or less, depending on your business and how risky it is.
That makes sense. So fixed costs, variable costs, contingency fund.
Right.
Is that all we need for a good budget?
Well, you also need to project your revenue, estimate your sales volume, figure out your pricing strategy. Be realistic. Don't overestimate how much you're going to make.
Right, those pie-in-the-sky projections can be dangerous.
Yeah. One source recommended doing lots of market research to really understand the demand.
Oh, okay.
Look at what your competitors are charging and consider things like seasonal trends or changes in the economy.
So we got to do our homework.
Yeah. And a good budget doesn't just show if your business can make money. It also shows potential investors that you know how to handle money responsibly.
It's like saying, I'm serious about this. I know what I'm doing. Okay, our finances are looking good. Now let's step back and talk about the description of our business idea.
This is where the magic happens, right? You got to capture the reader's attention, make them understand your vision.
It's our elevator pitch, but like on paper.
Yes, concise, compelling, captivating, but there's a sweet spot.
Right.
You can't be too detailed, but you also can't be too vague.
So how do we find that sweet spot?
Think about the key questions. Who are you? What problem are you solving? What makes your solution special? And how are you going to make money? You got to do all that while showcasing your passion, making your business stand out.
So it's like a creative writing exercise with really high stakes.
Right. One source said, to pretend you're explaining your idea to a friend over coffee, you wouldn't use jargon or boring statistics.
Oh, that's good advice.
Yeah, you'd tell a story.
Right.
Focus on the human side of it, the problem you're passionate about.
I like that.
Talk about the positive impact your business is going to have.
So it needs to be personal, relatable, even a bit emotional.
Exactly. But remember, you also have to think about who's reading this. A pitch for investors might not work for potential partners.
Right. Different audiences.
Yeah. Know your audience.
Yeah.
If you're talking to investors, you might lead with your financial projections and your unique selling point.
Okay.
But if you're talking to potential partners, you'd focus more on collaboration and shared goals.
Got it. It's about highlighting what matters most to them.
Yeah.
Okay. Description's done. Budget's done. Time to send off that proposal, right?
Not so fast. We have one more crucial step. Compliance.
Oh, compliance.
Nobody likes dealing with legal stuff, but it's so important. You don't want to get tripped up, especially when you're just starting out.
Yeah, no one wants legal trouble.
Compliance is about more than just avoiding trouble, though. It's about showing you're professional and building trust with your audience. Our sources give some great tips on what to keep in mind.
Okay, let's hear it. What are the legal must-knows?
Well, in Australia, there's the Competition and Consumer Act of 2010.
Yeah.
It covers a lot, like misleading advertising, unfair contracts, product safety. If you're selling a product, you got to know this act backwards and forward.
And I bet there are industry-specific rules, too.
Absolutely. Every industry has its own set of regulations. You got to be familiar with them.
Right.
Like if you're dealing with food or healthcare, things like that.
Yeah, makes sense.
A good example is if you're handling personal data. You'd need to comply with the Privacy Act
Okay.
and maybe even GDPR if you have customers in Europe.
This is a lot to keep track of.
Yeah, it can be. One source suggested making a checklist. It might seem a little tedious at first,
Right.
but it gives you peace of mind because you know you're doing everything right. And remember, compliance is ongoing. You have to keep learning about the rules and adapt when they change.
Okay, compliance check. Proposal check.
Yeah.
Budget check. I think we're ready to show this business idea to the world. But before we do, any advice on, like, presenting it the right way?
You've put all this work into your proposal.
Yeah.
Don't let a bad presentation ruin it. Think about all the different ways you might be presenting. A written proposal, a virtual presentation, a one-on-one meeting, a group pitch. Each one needs a slightly different approach.
This is where I get nervous, the actual presentation.
I get it.
Any tips for, like, calming the nerves and really connecting with the audience?
One source talked about practicing until it feels natural.
Okay.
And like you're just having a conversation. Think about what questions they might ask and let your passion shine through.
Okay, enthusiasm, check.
Yeah.
But what if you're facing a room full of skeptical investors?
Yeah.
Or a bunch of serious executives? How do you get through to them and make your proposal stand out?
Instead of just throwing information at them, think about what they care about. Investors want to make money.
Right.
So you emphasize the financial side, the potential for growth.
And if it's potential partners, you focus on how you can work together.
Exactly. You find that common ground. You show them how both businesses can benefit. It's all about relationships.
Okay.
Showing you're reliable.
I'm taking notes. Know your audience. Show the benefits. Build those relationships. But even with the best presentation, sometimes you just get a no. How do we handle rejection?
Rejection is part of being an entrepreneur. It doesn't mean you're not good enough.
Right.
Or that your idea is bad. Maybe it's just bad timing.
Yeah.
Or maybe your proposal just wasn't the right fit for that particular audience. One source said to think of rejection as a chance to learn and get better.
So, like, every no gets you closer to a yes.
Exactly. But I know rejection can still sting.
It does.
So how do we turn those no's into something positive? Well, one source said to reach out to the people who rejected you and ask for feedback.
Oh, interesting.
What were their concerns? What could you have done differently? That information can be so helpful.
That's a great point.
It shows them you're serious about learning and growing.
Okay, I think we've covered a lot of ground here, from that initial idea all the way to making a proposal and even dealing with rejection. Any final thoughts for our listeners?
Yeah. The path to being an entrepreneur is rarely a straight line, you know. There will be bumps in the road, unexpected detours, times when you're not sure about anything. But the rewards, for those who take the leap and don't give up, they're amazing.
I love that. And if anyone's feeling stuck, you know where to find us.
Yeah.
We're always here to do another deep dive, share the latest insights, and help you navigate the world of business.
You know, one thing that really jumped out from our research is that you should think of your business proposal as a living document. It's not something you just write once and you're done.
Right. It changes over time as you learn more.
Yeah. It should evolve as you refine your idea, as you get feedback from others.
So it's more like a roadmap.
Exactly, like a roadmap for your journey as an entrepreneur. But just like any good roadmap, you might need to make a few changes along the way, right? You might find a detour or discover a new destination you didn't even know about.
That's a good analogy.
So we have our flexible, adaptable business proposal ready. But now, how do we present it? That's the moment of truth.
Yeah. How do we make sure the delivery is just as good as the proposal itself?
It's all about your audience. You have to understand them and tailor your presentation to their needs, what they expect. Are you talking to experienced investors? They're going to want hard data, financial projections, or maybe you're pitching to potential partners, people who are more interested in collaboration.
So what works for one audience might not work for another.
Exactly. One source even said it's like choosing the right outfit.
Oh, I like that.
You got to dress your presentation for success.
Yeah.
What's the occasion? What's the message you're trying to convey? Another source talked about the format of your presentation. Is it a formal PowerPoint with lots of charts and graphs?
Okay.
Or is it more informal, like a conversation over coffee?
Right. Set the right tone.
Yeah. But I know, even with all the preparation in the world, public speaking can be nerve-wracking. Any tips for dealing with that and delivering a presentation that people actually want to listen to?
Yeah. Any advice?
One thing that resonated with me was storytelling. You need those facts and figures, sure,
Right.
but they're not what people remember. They're not persuasive on their own. Think about how you can tell a story. What's the human element of your business? Connect with your audience on an emotional level.
So it's not just what you say, it's how you say it.
Exactly. Now, sometimes you're pitching to a really tough crowd, investors who have heard it all before, or executives who don't have a lot of time.
Oh, yeah.
How do you get their attention? How do you make your proposal stand out? Well, one source said to think of your audience as problem solvers.
Okay.
What are their problems? What are they worried about? How can your business help them solve those problems? If you can do that, if you can position your proposal as the solution to their needs, you're much more likely to win them over.
So it's like being a detective, finding their pain points and then offering the cure.
Exactly. But even with the best detective skills and the best storytelling, sometimes you're still going to hear no. What do you do then?
Yeah. How do you deal with rejection and keep going?
You got to be resilient, and you got to learn from those setbacks. Rejection doesn't mean you're a failure.
Right.
Doesn't mean your idea is bad. Maybe it's just not the right time, or maybe your proposal just wasn't a good fit for them. One source said to think of it as an opportunity to get better.
So it's like those, what I call those experiments where they keep trying different things until they find the one that works.
Yeah. Like Thomas Edison.
Right, exactly.
He said something about finding 10,000 ways that something won't work before he found the one way that did work.
But rejection still hurts, even if you know it's not personal.
It does. So how do you turn those no's into something you can actually use? Reach out to the people who rejected you. Ask for specific feedback. What didn't they like? What could you have done better?
That's a good idea.
That information is gold. And it shows them that you're serious about learning and growing.
Okay, so we talked about how to present, how to use storytelling, and how to handle rejection.
Yeah.
But there's something else we got to talk about, something that's really at the heart of being an entrepreneur. Passion. I feel like that's what drives most people who start businesses, right?
Absolutely. Passion is what keeps you going when it gets tough.
Yeah.
It's the spark that fuels your creativity. And it can be contagious. It can inspire other people to believe in your vision.
Enthusiasm is contagious, for sure. But I can also see how too much passion could be a problem. Like, you might not see the challenges, or you might not listen to feedback.
That's true. One source said to think of passion as your compass, It points you in the right direction,
Okay.
but it's not the map. You need a map too, a plan.
Yeah.
You need to balance that passion with research, with being practical, with being willing to change course if you need to.
So passion is the compass, guiding you towards your goal.
Yeah,
But you need a map to actually get there.
exactly. And as you're navigating that terrain, it's important to remember that you're not alone. Our sources talked a lot about community and how important that is for entrepreneurs.
It takes a village, right?
It does. So where do you find those people, those like-minded folks?
Yeah, where's the village?
Well, there are tons of resources. Look for local networking events, industry conferences,
okay.
online forums, even co-working spaces. Those are all places where entrepreneurs get together, share their experiences, give advice, support each other.
That's so important to know you're not alone.
Yeah. When you connect with other people and you hear their stories, you realize that everyone faces challenges. You can learn from each other's mistakes, celebrate successes together, and find inspiration in each other's resilience.
It's all about supporting each other.
Yes. And speaking of resilience, our sources also talked about personal growth, how that plays into entrepreneurship.
Oh, that's interesting.
To make sense, right? Starting a business isn't just about making money. It's about pushing yourself, learning new skills, becoming a better version of yourself.
It's like a crash course in personal development.
Yeah. But with real consequences and potentially huge rewards.
That's a good way to put it. But let's be real. There are going to be days when it all feels too much.
Yeah, of course.
When you doubt yourself, when you wonder if this whole thing is even worth it.
Definitely. One source said, in those moments, you need to connect back to your why. Why did you start this business in the first place?
Hmm.
Was it to make a difference in the world?
Okay.
Was it to solve a problem you're passionate about? Or maybe you just wanted more freedom. Remember that why. It can be really powerful.
Yeah, when it gets tough, that sense of purpose can keep you going.
Right. And speaking of keeping yourself going, our sources also talked about self-care.
Oh, yes. So important, but so easy to forget.
It is. It's easy to work all the time, to neglect your health, both physical and mental, but you can't give your best if you're running on empty.
It's true.
Taking care of yourself, whether it's exercise, meditation, spending time with people you love, or just taking breaks. It's all essential for keeping your energy up, staying focused, and being creative.
So it's not selfish, it's actually a smart business move.
Exactly. And you know what else? Don't forget to celebrate the small wins along the way.
Yeah, because it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Exactly. We get so caught up in the hustle, always looking ahead to the next big thing, that we forget to appreciate what we've already accomplished. Taking the time to celebrate those little victories, like landing a new client or hitting a sales goal or even just making it through a tough week,
Yeah.
it can really boost your motivation and remind you why you're doing this.
And give you a chance to, like, catch your breath.
Yeah. So find those moments of joy, celebrate amidst the chaos, and maybe even give yourself a little reward.
Oh, I like that. A fancy coffee, a massage, a weekend trip, whatever works.
Exactly. And share those celebrations with your team, your mentors, your fellow entrepreneurs. Spread that positive energy around.
Speaking of mentors, I'd love to hear your thoughts on how important they are for entrepreneurs.
Oh, they're so valuable, especially when you're just starting out. Finding someone who's been there, done that, who can give you advice based on their own experience,
Right.
that can make all the difference.
So where do you find these amazing mentors?
There are a few ways. You can reach out to people you admire in your industry. You can go to networking events that are specifically for mentoring. There are even online platforms that connect mentors and mentees.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
But what if you're nervous about reaching out to someone? I imagine it can be a bit intimidating to ask for help.
It can be, but remember, most successful entrepreneurs have had mentors who helped them along the way.
Right.
They know how hard it is to start a business, and they often want to share what they've learned. They want to help the next generation.
So don't be afraid to ask.
Exactly. And mentorship doesn't have to be the super formal thing.
Okay.
It could be as simple as connecting with someone on LinkedIn,
Right?
having coffee with a fellow entrepreneur, joining an online forum where you can ask questions.
It's about building those connections.
Yeah.
Creating a support network.
Exactly. It can really help you through those ups and downs of being an entrepreneur. Okay, we've covered a lot, from community and mentors to personal growth and celebrating your successes. As we wrap up this part of our deep dive into business proposals, any final words of wisdom?
Business is always changing, so you got to be adaptable.
Yeah.
You got to be persistent. You got to always be learning new things. Embrace those challenges, find mentors, find resources, and remember, every successful entrepreneur has had setbacks along the way.
Right.
Don't be afraid to make mistakes, to change direction when you need to, and to keep refining your idea until it's truly great.
It's amazing when you hear those stories, those successful entrepreneurs, and you realize, wow, they started just like us.
Yeah, with an idea and a willingness to take a risk.
Right. And they kept going, even when things got tough.
That's the key, isn't it? Perseverance. And one thing that comes up a lot in those stories is the importance of always learning. The business world never stands still, so you got to keep up. Yeah, it's like the more you learn, the more you realize how much you don't know.
Exactly. But it can be overwhelming. Where do you even start? There's so much information out there.
Right. Like, how do you choose what to focus on?
One source said to figure out your knowledge gaps. What are you missing? What skills do you need to develop? Once you know that, you can find resources to help you fill those gaps.
Okay, so be strategic about your learning.
Yeah. Is it financial management? Digital marketing? Maybe you need a mentor who can teach you about your specific industry.
Right.
Find what you need and go for it.
But it's not just about, like, reading books and taking courses, right? You have to actually use that knowledge.
That's so true. One source talked about learning by doing. Don't be afraid to experiment, to try things out, even if you make mistakes along the way.
Yeah, it's like they say, experience is the best teacher, but it can be expensive.
It can, but those lessons you learn, those are priceless.
They stick with you.
And as you gain more experience, you start to develop your own way of doing things. Your own leadership style, your own values that guide your business decisions.
You find your own entrepreneurial voice.
Exactly. But it's not always easy. There will be times when you doubt yourself.
Yeah,
You wonder if you're doing the right thing, if you're even cut out for
those
this.
moments of self-doubt.
They happen to everyone. One source said to make self-reflection a regular practice.
Okay.
Take some time each week, maybe even every day, to just step back and think, what's going well? What could be better? What did I learn this week that I can use in my business?
It's like checking in with yourself.
Yeah. And don't forget to ask other people for feedback, too. Talk to your mentors, your advisors, your team. What do they see as your strengths and weaknesses?
Yeah, sometimes you need that outside perspective,
It can be hard to be objective about yourself.
especially when you're so close to it, you know?
Right. And remember, feedback isn't always fun to hear,
No, it's
but
not.
it's so valuable. It helps you grow. It helps you see things you might have missed.
So be open to it.
Yes. Okay, we've talked about learning, self-reflection, feedback, finding your own style. As we wrap up this deep dive into the world of business proposals, any final words of advice for our listeners?
Yeah. What should they keep in mind as they start their own entrepreneurial journeys?
Remember, it's a journey of constant learning, adaptation, and resilience. You're going to face challenges, you're going to have setbacks, but there will also be amazing moments of joy and a sense of accomplishment and personal growth. Don't be afraid of the uncertainty, stay focused on your vision, and never stop believing in yourself. You can make your dreams happen.
That's a great message to end on. And for anyone listening, if you ever need help, you know where to find us. We're always here for another deep dive, ready to share the latest insights and help you navigate the world of business. So until next time, keep dreaming big, keep learning, and keep pushing those boundaries.